Making $10,000 a month is validation that the idea that you had has merit. But how do you go from zero to $10,000 a month? Well, let's start by working backwards. If you have a product or service that makes you $10 per sale, you would have to sell 1,000 of these a month. If you make $100 per sale, you're gonna have to sell 100 of these a month. And if you can make $1,000 from each product sale or service sale that you make, you would have to sell 10 of these a month. But if you are in the content business, you make YouTube videos, you make podcasts, and let's assume that you can make 1 penny for every view or download, which is pretty reasonable, especially on YouTube, then you would have to make about 1 million views per month to hit that $10,000 a month goal. And if you have investments where you can get a 7% cash on cash return, this is cash flow, whether it be through dividends or whether it be through your real estate investments, you would have to invest $1.7 million to get this passive 7% return on your money to get you the $10,000 a month. Now you can just pick your option and work backwards. I'm assuming that most people don't have $1.7 million to invest to get the 7% ROI. So now we look at the other options. Is it going to be building content online, or are you going to be selling a product, and what's the price of the product, and how many of these products do you have to sell? If you want to create your own income but you don't have a lot of money to start, there are 3 different options that you have. Number 1 is you can go out and try to raise money from investors, but then your investors are going to take a piece of ownership from your company. Option number 2 is you can try to go out and raise money from a bank through debt. But then that has its own risks because you have to pay this money back, you have to make your monthly payments, and if you don't, then the bank can take over your business. And option number 3 is you can follow the 3-step bootstrap process. Earn, learn, and churn. First, you got to earn. Take what you know or take what you do and make some money from it. Second, you got to learn. Take the money that you just earned and use this money to learn a skill that's going to pay you with more money. And third, you got to churn. Once you learn more ways on how to earn more money, either you can double down into how you're earning money right now, or you can pivot and change how you're earning money. That way you have a more scalable income. When I started this YouTube channel, I was very comfortable financially. I was already running some businesses. They weren't huge successes, but they were pretty decent, and they allowed me to start investing in real estate, because what I was doing was I was making money from these businesses and buying as much real estate as possible. So I was working to build up my rental portfolio, and then I started making YouTube videos. At first it was just a hobby. I started making YouTube videos because this was a way for me to talk about the things that I wish I had learned when I was getting started. I didn't know that I could make money from YouTube when I started making videos. I really just started this because I got scammed and screwed over at one of the companies that I was working on and running. And so I was so frustrated. So I started making videos on how to launch a business without getting screwed over. Then that kind of transformed to more financial education. It kind of transformed to money management, investing, entrepreneurship, the broad financial education stuff. But for me, this was a hobby because I was busy doing the other things that I was working on. But then as the YouTube channel started to grow, we started making some money here on YouTube, and then I started pivoting more time here on YouTube. And then I wanted to create a real company, something more involved in the financial space, because I'm much more passionate here. And that's when I had the idea to create Briefs Media, which is my newsletter company. Briefs Media is a newsletter company where we have multiple different newsletters. We have Market Briefs, which is my newsletter for investors. We have Business Briefs, which is my newsletter for entrepreneurs. And now we're also launching Market Briefs en Español, which is our Market Briefs newsletter for Spanish speakers. I didn't grow up learning about business or entrepreneurship, so the experience that I got was from the things that I did and from what I read in books. And in the beginning, I assumed that business meant that a business would rely on me. I would have to do everything. If it wasn't me doing everything, then I wouldn't be getting paid. I assumed that was the only way that you could do it. But then through books, I started learning more about this idea of scalable businesses, where a business doesn't have to rely on you as the founder, where you can build a team and you can essentially plug yourself out. So I started learning this and realized this is something that I want. I want to build something that's more scalable, that's bigger than just me. That was what Briefs Media wanted to do, but the problem was I'm not a very good writer. I don't want to be the one that's writing all the newsletters. I need to build something that's different than me. Now, how do I do that? Well, I need a staff. I need people that would write the newsletters. I need people that can do the research. I need a business development team that can get advertisers to pay money to actually be sponsors on our newsletter. Well, it costs money to do that. And so if I wanted to do that, I would need money to go out and do this. But how am I going to do that? Well, that's when I started taking the money that I was making from here on YouTube, and instead of going out and buying nice cars or even buying real estate, I took the money from YouTube and then I started hiring staff. I started building more teams, started building more systems, and I started investing into this newsletter. Now, it's risky because there's a chance that this whole business can fail. We can go bankrupt and I lose everything with nothing. With real estate, if I invest my money into a property and something bad happens, I still own the land. I still own the building. I have something that I can sell. With your own business, you don't have that. So you have higher risk and also higher potential reward. But for me, that was something that I wanted to build. So I kept learning while I was earning. I was earning here while learning and then taking the money and putting it back into Briefs Media. And now we started building the team, started building the systems, and now we've been able to scale this into a much bigger financial media company where we have a daily newsletter and multiple different newsletters that are going out to help investors, that are helping entrepreneurs, that are helping people in other countries learn about what's happening in terms of financial education. First, you gotta find the simplest and easiest way to start earning money. Once you can start earning money, then you reinvest these earnings into learning. As you start learning, now you're gonna change what you do. You gotta start churning to find something that's more scalable that can allow you to scale your income. Because you can start earning your way to $10,000 a month. That's very possible. But if you wanna scale it from 10,000 to 100,000 to 200,000, you can't do it all by yourself, which is why you have to understand the churn as well. The best decision that I made was the first time I started making $10,000 a month. This is before my time on YouTube, but the first time I started making $10,000 a month, I did not go out and buy a new BMW like I wanted to do. As soon as I started making more money, the first thing I did was I went onto Google and I started looking at the newest BMW 3 Series. There was no BMW 4 Series then. I was looking at the 3 Series and I was telling everybody how I was going to go buy this new BMW 3 Series, but instead of doing that, I ended up going and buying more real estate. Everybody that I knew was making less money than me. But everybody that I knew also had a nicer car than me. Everybody that I knew was going on more vacations than me. Everybody that I knew was eating at nicer restaurants than me. And everybody that I knew was blowing way more money than I was. I was making good money. But I took all this money and I was only buying real estate. And it was where I was learning. I was buying real estate and I was reading books. I was buying real estate and I was taking classes. I was buying real estate and I was investing back into me because I knew that I wanted to build something more scalable. I just didn't know how to do it. Before I was on YouTube, I was doing a lot of different things, but for a period of time, I started investing in real estate and I realized I don't have enough money to keep buying more real estate. So I needed more income. So that's when I went out and I got my realtor's license. I became a real estate salesperson and I helped people buy and sell homes. And when I was doing that, I realized there's other ways that I can do more of what I'm doing right now and earn more money because my broker happened to be a teacher who taught real estate wholesaling. She invited me to a seminar that she was running on wholesaling real estate. I went to the seminar and then I paid another $3,500 or so to learn how to wholesale real estate. And then I took this knowledge that I had that I learned and I started wholesaling real estate and I started making pretty good money. It took me 4 months or so before I made my first sale, meaning for the first 4 months, I was working my butt off and I made no money. And then on month 5, I closed my first sale and my second sale, and then I made a little bit over $10,000. Same with month 6 and on from there. And instead of taking this money and going out and blowing it because I started earning some money, I took this money and I reinvested it. And this time I used this money to start buying more real estate. But this is where understanding you got to earn some money, then you got to learn how to grow your income, and then you got to keep churning. You will make mistakes that lose money. We did that here, where when we were trying to invest in our Minority Mindset blog, I spent a lot of money trying to build it because I didn't have the time to manage it. I was working on a bunch of different projects and I wanted to build this blog as a cash generating tool on our website. And so I hired the best consultants, I hired the best team, I hired the best writers. And over 18 to 24 months, I probably spent about $500,000 to get this blog built. Well, guess what? That blog went nowhere. The $500,000 went down the drain. Sometimes you are going to lose. That's a part of entrepreneurship. But this is where understanding, sometimes you got to be willing to take the risk. You got to be willing to learn, and then you got to be willing to churn. And it all starts with having a way to earn money. There's an unlimited ways that you can earn money. Go out and start mowing people's lawns. Go and shovel people's snow. Go and rake people's leaves. If you don't want to do that, then go and sell some services online. Go and learn how to do digital marketing. Learn how to do video editing. Learn how to do graphic design. Learn how to do copywriting. Then read books. Read books on how to start a business. Read books on how to scale a business. Read books on how to manage a business. Read books on marketing. Start learning and absorbing the content and get fully immersed into this idea that you want to create something that can create an income. And you got to keep being willing to start over and do it and be fully committed to what you're doing. And it's going to sound weird. What do you mean start over and be fully committed? Be fully committed to the idea that you want to succeed with it, and understand sometimes you got to be willing to cut the losses, but you don't want to just cut the losses every time you don't see the success that you want in 6 months. Be fully committed to learning, and as you learn, you're going to learn more about scalability. You're going to learn more about growth. You're going to learn more about marketing, and that's going to allow you to scale your income to something a whole lot bigger. Now, we cover a lot of ideas, innovation, and business trends in Business Briefs. It's my free newsletter for entrepreneurs. So if you want to learn more about that, you can join Business Briefs for free, and I'll put the link to how you can join down in the description below.
If you do not have $2,000 saved up right now, you are in a financial danger zone, because if something goes wrong, if your car breaks down, if your AC breaks, if your heater breaks, if your window breaks, if something goes wrong, well, now you're going to have to go into debt to fix that problem, and now you're going to have to dig an even bigger hole to dig yourself out of the problem. You need to save